Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here. I got the verdict on the Kyle Rittenhouse case today, and we're going to be discussing that here in a minute. Before I get started, please check us out on member programs, YouTube, Patreon. Discord is a free service. We have call-ins for our podcast, The Real Deal with me, Larry Lawton. It's a great show, airs every Monday and Friday, and we do call-ins and stuff like that. Check out my book, Gangster Redemption. It's the wild ride I lived and survived and can tell the story about. Let's get into the Kyle Rittenhouse case. The verdict just came out. Let me explain what I said and why I was right. I said he was going to get acquitted. I said he was going to be found not guilty. I thought the prosecutor was terrible. I still do. And a part of me almost believes that they did that on purpose. I know nobody has said that. But, I mean, did they sabotage the case? But what I saw on the videos, and I watched the whole trial, every minute of it. I watched the motions. I've read the case up and down. I've read media reports, both sides, left and right. And sadly, this case became way too political. And why I mean that is this. This was not a political case to me. You know, I got a lot of backlash from people on the left saying that, oh, I was a traitor and I just didn't want justice. And everybody comes up with whatever they want to justify their own opinion on this case. We all do it. I, on the other hand, on this case, I followed the law. I researched the Wisconsin law, found out what the law was. I did not like, and I'll be honest with you, when they gave the lesser offenses for the verdict, meaning they gave the jury the option to do lesser offenses. Obviously, when you found out that you believe that that man was in fear for his life and he used self-defense, then there is no lesser offenses. It was out. I believe that, and I'll tell you why I believe that. When this man was charged, he was charged in a way that they had to prove there was no self-defense, or they have to prove that he instigated it. Now, just being there with the gun and the long rifle, as they call it, the AR-15, to protect property, or whatever he was doing there, that doesn't mean he instigated. What that means is if you wanted to charge maybe a youth under the age and firing a gun at city limits, I don't know if they could have got any of that. But it wasn't up in the jury's hand. What was in the jury's hand was it self-defense. Obviously, 12 people believed it was self-defense. He is acquitted. It is over. I hope, and I really do hope, the Justice Department doesn't start no investigation for civil rights violations or anything like that. I think they made this case political after the Blake shooting, and that's when the riots started. And I'm calling them riots. It was supposed to be protests, but they turned into riots, or civil unrest, if you want to call it that, in Kenosha. Now, with that said, with the case being said and everything else, and now he is not guilty. You know, I watched the verdict. He almost collapses. He didn't fake that. Look at the way he cried, too, and the way the emotions came out of him, whether it was the moving of the mouth. That is not fake. That is not faked at all, in my opinion. I think that's just people on the left trying to reach for something. And again, let me explain something. Everybody who knows me, I'm a libertarian. I am a social liberal. Big time. And I'm a fiscal conservative. And I think most people are. So you can't say that I'm looking at this case in any other eye than the legal eye that I looked at it in, and now my opinion on it. I thought the defense attorneys, Mark Richards, top of the line, great job. Him and his co-counsel, as he called them. Very good job on this case in a lot of ways. You know, putting Kyle Rittenhouse on the stand it's a gamble. That doesn't happen much in any criminal defense cases. It just doesn't happen because you can open yourself to a lot of other issues. Now, they did that. They put him on the stand, and what the defense attorney said was they actually had a mock jury, a mock trial, mock jury, and they put him in front of a jury not taking the stand, and they put it in front of a jury with him taking the stand. And as the attorney said, there's no question we had to put him on the stand. And in Wisconsin, people want to hear from the defendant. And that is true in most cases. Another thing that, you know, people were talking about and saying he's a militia guy and all this kind of stuff. I don't know about wannabe militia guy and all that, because there's nothing on his cell phone, nothing on his computers that was put out into the public that this guy's, you know, trying to join a militia group or stuff like that. And in fact, he wanted to be a cop. He wanted to be, you know, he wanted to help. Do I think it was should have he did that? No. You know, a lot of people say, oh, now you're going to get the right thing. No, Larry, don't you believe in the First Amendment, Second Amendment, and all that? You know, I believe in the whole Constitution. I think every police officer should have the First, Second, Fourth, Fifth, and Eighth Amendments memorized or in a card in their pocket. And I think that'll save them a lot of problems in the future as well. But on this case, the Kyle Rittenhouse case, he almost passed out. His knees buckled. His knees buckled when that verdict was read. You got to remember what I think people are forgetting, and I know it doesn't have anything to do with the case itself, but his age to me mattered. Not for guilty or not guilty. I thought no matter who he was, at what age he was not guilty after listening to all the evidence. And what does that show us? Obviously that 12 people agreed with me. What else does it show? That we have to stop coming to judgment so quick on a lot of cases. You know, when the case first came out, I thought, wow, what's this kid doing at 15? He's shooting people in the streets. They're not doing anything about it. It wasn't that. And, you know, the prosecutor did a lot of things I think was dirty. They tried to introduce this drone footage, different footage that they gave to the defense in discovery. Can't do that. They knew two witnesses were lying. They knew two witnesses were lying. How do you put those people on the stand? They should be sanctioned. In my opinion, see, the problem with prosecutors they should be seeking justice, not a win. They have a different job than a defense attorney. Their job should be to find out the truth. Get to the whole truth and nothing but the truth, whether it exonerates somebody or convicts someone. But sadly, a lot of prosecutors, and the first one that comes to mind is Nancy Grace. Like her or hate her, I'm not a fan. This is a girl who claims how she's 100, no record and everything else. You know, I don't think you looked at the cases the way you should have, and you just were going for your conviction rate. My opinion, don't know them all, and that's just, as they say, you know, everybody has an asshole and everybody has an opinion. Now, yes, my opinion is a little bit more educated than most, because I studied the law for so long and I read a lot of cases and I get the way people think. But I also take common sense to a case. Anybody who watched this case, and again, let me explain something. We had a little bit of a better view here, and here's what I mean by that. We, meaning the public, got to see the sidebars or the motions that were in front of the court. The jury doesn't get to see that at all. We, as people who are looking at this case all the way, and we saw the dirty tactics the prosecutor did. In fact, I think the prosecutor wanted to get a mistrial. I think they knew they were losing right from the jump, and they wanted to get a mistrial. I think the prosecutor tried to clean up the case in the closing arguments, which I think he lied in there too. I didn't think his summation was what the facts shown. Now, obviously, they gave him leeway with that and stuff, but the judge wasn't happy with a lot of things that happened. And people who didn't like the judge, whether it's commentators on the left or the right, listen, the judge is the judge, and I think he did a good job. And not just because of, people went crazy. You can't call him a victim. You can't do that. Listen, the judge is looking out for the interest of everybody there. The judge is a referee. He's not going to decide the case, but he's going to call balls and strikes on a case. And by calling out the attorney, the prosecutor, who I'm telling you, I thought it was one of the worst prosecutors I've seen on TV. And if that's the best Wisconsin has to offer in that area, and whatever that area they did the trial in, if that's the best they have, it's almost like, go do a crime there. You're not going to get convicted, because this guy's not the brightest tool, sharpest tool in the shed. And listen, people are going to say, you're just against this, or you just believe in this. And that's not true. I say to this day, and this gets a lot of heat, I don't consider Kyle Rittenhouse a hero. And I don't think he does. I don't think this 17-year-old kid, when it happened, or 18-year-old now, he's still a kid, believes he's a hero. I think his life has been turned upside down. I hope he can recover from it. He was found not guilty. We can debate and sit here all day long. Should have he been there? Should have he not been there? That's all up for debate. It really is. I don't think anybody should have been there with an AR-15. But then again, people are going to say, listen, would you be there to protect your property? Good point. Well, Kyle Rittenhouse wasn't his property. No, he was a community member. He went there to go paint over graffiti. Yes, his father did live there. His mother lived in Illinois. So don't, everybody say he just went there looking for trouble. I think he was a boisterous kid who thought he was bigger than he was. And, I'm an EMT. He didn't say he was an EMT, but he never denied it he was. He walked around with a medical bag asking if anybody needed help, like he's an EMT. Even had a reporter following him around, which in turn was good for him. Obviously, the evidence showed what it did. The evidence showed that Kyle Rittenhouse was in fear for his life, and he used appropriate force to defend that fear. Now, I know, you have a lot of armchair quarterbacks at this one, and the people wanting to make their verdict heard. We're going to see here, and I'm hoping there's no unrest. I hope they have the National Guard out there. I think there's 500 National Guard. They're going to keep the peace. But people shouldn't be protesting this. Now, I'll tell you another case I'm watching, and it's the Arbery case up in South Carolina. Now, that case, I have a whole different opinion on, and I might give that one as well because people want to hear it. They also want to hear a lot of what I'm talking about with the news, because I'm telling it straight. I'm not telling it from a Fox point of view, or I'm not telling it from a CNN or a MSNBC point of view. I think it was really, really bad for the media that MSNBC got thrown out of the courtroom, and the judge, what happened they did to following the jurors and doing certain things. And that they should be ashamed of themselves. And that's what gives the media a bad name. But I'm sick of people even calling it the media or any of it. All it is a fucking TV show. It's like a current affair, or it's a fucking like a extra. It's bullshit. It's not giving an unbiased or central view of the news. It's hard to find network or a TV station or even a paper that's really pretty much down the line. Wall Street Journal is pretty much to me. Chris Wallace from Fox News, like him or not, he's a pretty middle-of-the-road guy. And I think most people are, though. I really do. I think most people are middle of the road, and that's where I fall. People don't care about a lot of things, but they care about their rights. They care about the Constitution. Now, if we don't care about the Constitution, change it. If you get enough people to change it, you can put people in office to change the Constitution, whether it's with guns, whether it's the First Amendment, Second Amendment, seizure law, whatever it is, change it. I don't think it needs to be changed. I think there should be some modifications to the Second Amendment. Obviously, I don't think somebody should have a tank or a RPG or something of that nature. I don't believe that. I think people should be logical. When the Constitution was made, they had muskets. Listen to what I said. They had muskets. They didn't envision tanks rolling down the street that could shoot, fucking guns that could wipe out buildings, and fucking M16s that can whack off rounds like automatic weapons and 60 calibers. They didn't. That's not even fathomable. I don't even know what we're gonna fathom in 40 years or 100 years. Lasers and fucking disappearing. Who the hell knows? But I'm not going to be around to see it. But on the case of Kyle Rittenhouse, I gotta say, I am happy for the verdict and not happy for the situation. I'm happy for the verdict because I think the verdict was just. And I think the minute we start getting into politics in a legal case, we're off on a bad path. And here's the problem. We're there already. Even when the cop shootings, we got to find out right or wrong. And we have to get to the facts. Yes, can things be streamlined? Yes, can police be more open? Yes, should police have body cams? Yes, should they give the public a quicker notice of what's going on? Are they going to arrest him? Should they, let him free when they're not going to let another person free? There has to be that balance of information, but the investigation has to trump everything. And I think it did in this case. I think these defense attorneys did a great job of narrowing this case down to what it was. It was about self-defense. Listening to the defense attorneys and watching it, Kyle Rittenhouse didn't just go up to people and start shooting them. He was attacked, and he tried to get out of situations. He ran, he got cornered. Guy grabs his gun. A guy tries to hit him with a skateboard. And it really was crazy when I posted something and people saying to me, "Oh, Larry, yeah, but you have to meet force with the equal force." He was swinging a skateboard skateboard at him, but he shot him. Well, listen to me. A skateboard knocks you out, kills you, and he takes your gun. Again, should have he been there with a gun? I'm not saying he should have. But did he have the legal right to? In Wisconsin, he did. Don't like the laws of Wisconsin? Either don't live there or change the laws. Period. I'm done with that argument. Do I think as a person, as would I want my son to be there with a gun? No. Would I go there with a gun? No. But I also don't own a business in that area. Would I defend my house if somebody come in here? Absolutely. Whatever it took. Obviously, I'm a felon. I can't have a weapon, which I don't. But would I defend my home if I could? My neighbors or people who do have firearms and will defend their home, I'm all for that. We need to have that. The police can't be everywhere and every minute. And in some rural areas, it might take 20 minutes for a cop to get there. So in that case, do you want something to defend yourself? I think you do. Now, you could debate that or not, but I think you do. I really do. And so I'm not going to debate the Second Amendment, that's for sure. And I'm not going to debate his right for self-defense. Under the law, every situation that they came upon, which is what kind of got me mad too, and I didn't like this that happened, is the last guy who was wounded, got his bicep shot off. That guy kind of pissed me off because on the stand, he said he pointed the gun at Rittenhouse. He said that on the stand. Well, then I saw him on one of the morning shows, and he said he didn't. He unequivocally didn't. Well, then you're either lying on the stand or you're lying now. I don't get that. Uncredible. Period. The two people who died, the video that's shown, the witnesses that said, yes, he threatened to kill him. Yes, if I catch you, I'll kill you. And then comes at him in a vicious way. And then when Rittenhouse goes down, the guy tries to hit him, and they're saying active shooter. I don't think he was an active shooter. And if you look up the definition of an active shooter, he was not an active shooter. And to me, that was a big case too. Did he have a weapon? But there were other people with firearms there. There were other people that if somebody came up to him and tried to attack him and chase him, would get shot. So is that right or wrong? I think it's right. This case narrowed down to, was he in self-defense? Did he fear for his own life or life of others? And he did. And I don't see why he wouldn't. He's a 17-year-old kid. Guarantee that kid shouldn't have been there. He was panicked. He ain't even mature enough. I think this kid's got a lot of fucking mental problems. He's in counseling. I did find this out. He's in counseling for PTSD. And he will have that. He killed 2 human beings. And that really is weighing heavy on that kid. That to me, and I'm sorry what any athletes or anybody says, I don't think it was crocodile tears. I don't think it was fake tears at all. I think that kid was overwhelmed. That kid was a kid. A kid. Let's treat him like a kid. He was 17-year-old when this happened. Yes, he went there with a gun. Yes, they charged him with an adult. Didn't say anything about that. I'm talking the mental part now. I think the kid is still a kid, and he's going to go through a lot, and I don't know what's going to happen to that kid down the line. And I hope he gets around people who are the good people who don't want to push him into any political agenda. One of the nicest things I heard from the defense attorney, Mark Richards, and again, great job, was if you want an attorney who has an agenda or a political agenda in this case, I'm not your guy. I'm here for the defense. To me, that said it all. And the guy took it apart like it was what he knew to do. He took the case apart as a defense attorney would. And you would want him on your case too, no matter who you are, left, right, or in the middle. If you're charged in anything, you want an attorney that's going to be like this guy, Mark Richards, who is going to take the case and break it down and not have a political agenda that, we all have rights to carry guns. We don't want to loot it. We don't. I'm all for our First Amendment to assemble and to regress the government and to do everything that's in the First Amendment. A lot of people don't know that. I'm all for that. Big time. There's stuff, you want to go protest in the streets? Go protest. The minute you start breaking other people's private property, you're wrong. And the people in those groups are wrong. And I wish people would stop them or at least point them out to authorities and they could stop them quick enough. There's no reason for you to throw things at people. There's no things for you to break stuff. There is listen, peaceful protests are stopping traffic, walking in the streets. You want to do that? Yes. It's not right. It's not legal. That's, pushing to the limit. Another one, you're disrupting people's time or something. That's a whole different animal than taking one person's property. This guy built his whole business up. He owns a liquor store. He owns a pharmacy. And he built his whole business up. Has done everything right. And now people are looting and going through his stuff and breaking his property. So I get why people were there for that reason. I really do. But I don't think that he should have been there coming from out of town saying, here, I'm going to protect other people's property. And as one sheriff said, we don't want people like that here because they are not qualified to handle these kind of situations. Are the cops qualified? That's questionable too, let's face it. But for the most part, they are. They are qualified, and I think that's important. So the Kyle Rittenhouse case, in my mind, went exactly the way it should. Let me know what you think. The comments below. Please stay safe. Don't do stupid things. Make good choices. Help somebody every day. You have a great day. Thanks for watching.